Good morning. Been waiting for this. I'm not exactly sure when this came out. Maybe 24 hours ago, perhaps. I hope it's not something that's really old and I'm just finding out about now, but it's the lab leak from the White House. So we're going to go through a little bit of that. I think I'm ready. Let's see. Okay, there we go. All right, I am going to read through this. The lab leak, the White House lab leak. As soon as I can verify that my audio is working correctly. It sure is. All right. Cool. Let's go through this. This is from the White House, and I'm going to put the link in the chat. whitehouse.gov /lab leak true origins of COVID-19, or just go to the White House website, whitehouse.gov, open up the search, put in lab leak, and it'll pop right up. No problemo. Put that link there in the chat. In case anybody needs that for later, it will be right there. All right. Lab leak, the true origins of COVID-19. The origin. The proximal origin of SARS-CoV-2 publication, which was used repeatedly by public health officials and the media to discredit the lab leak theory, was prompted by Dr. Fauci to push the preferred narrative that COVID-19 originated naturally. 1. The virus possesses a biological characteristic that is not found in nature. This is not something of natural origins. 2. Data shows that all COVID-19 cases stem from a single introduction into humans. This runs contrary to previous pandemics where there were multiple spillover events. 3. Wuhan is home to China's foremost SARS research lab, which has a history of conducting gain-of-function research, gene-altering and organism supercharging at inadequate biosafety levels. 4. Wuhan Institute of Virology researchers were sick with COVID-like symptoms in the fall of 2019. Yes, in the fall of 2019, months before COVID-19 was discovered at the wet market. 5. By nearly all measures of science, if there was evidence of a natural origin, it would have already surfaced, but it hasn't. They give us a nice map. This map's pretty good. Shows exactly where the Wuhan Institution of Virology is compared to where the wet market is, the bat crap soup market, about 7.5 miles away. Let me just remove that link, make it a little easier. Oh, yeah. So there it is, where it probably happened and where they say that it originated from naturally from the bats. And of course, the House Oversight Report is going to show up on this page. It's going to show up a lot to download. If you haven't downloaded it, it's good to do that. It's 556 pages, so there goes your summer. Proximal origin publication. The proximal origin of SARS-CoV-2 publication, which was we already read that. Okay, gain of function research. A lab-related incident involving gain of function research is the most likely origin of COVID-19. Current government mechanisms for overseeing this dangerous gain of function research are incomplete, severely convoluted, and lack global applicability. EcoHealth Alliance, Inc., EcoHealth, under the leadership of Dr. Peter Daszak, used U.S. taxpayer dollars to facilitate dangerous gain-of-function research in Wuhan, China. After the select subcommittees released evidence of EcoHealth violating the terms of its National Institution of Health grant, the NIH grant, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, commenced official debarment proceedings and suspended all funding to EcoHealth. All that done under the leadership of Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., no doubt. NIH failures. NIH's procedures for funding and overseeing potentially dangerous research are deficient, unreliable, and pose a serious threat to both public health and national security. Further, NIH fostered an environment that prompted evading federal record keeping laws, as seen through the actions of Dr. David Morin's and FOIA lady Margie Moore. There's the executive grant of clemency, the pardon that Biden gave to Anthony Fauci, which is interesting. If he had nothing to hide, didn't do anything wrong, he hasn't been charged with anything, he's not in prison, but they're already giving out pardon. I totally disagree with this line of thinking that you can give out a pardon before any crime is committed. That's just crazy to me. So this is a full and unconditional pardon for any offenses against the United States which he may have committed or taken part in from January 1, 2014. Crazy. And of course, we know he's not the only one who got one of those pardons. Liz Cheney was another one, I believe. HHS obstruction. The Biden administration's HHS engaged in a multi-year campaign of delay, confusion, and non-responsiveness in an attempt to obstruct the select subcommittee's investigation and hide evidence that could incriminate or embarrass senior public health officials. It appears that HHS even intentionally under-resourced its component that responds to legislative oversight requests. How shocking. What about the EcoHealth obstruction? Let's look at what they did here. EcoHealth President Dr. Peter Daszak obstructed the Select Subcommittee's investigation by providing publicly available information, instructing his staff to reduce the scope and pace of productions, and doctoring documents before releasing them to the public. Further, Dr. Daszak provided false statements to Congress. And the next one is Dr. David Morin's. Dr. Fauci's senior advisor, Dr. David Morin's, deliberately obstructed the Select Subcommittee's investigation, likely lied to Congress on multiple occasions, unlawfully deleted federal COVID-19 records, and shared non-public information about NIH grant processes with EcoHealth President Dr. Peter Daszak. Next, New York obstruction. New York's executive chamber, led presently by Governor Kathy Hochul, redacted documents, offered numerous illegitimate privilege claims, and withheld thousands of documents without an apparent legal basis to obstruct the Select Subcommittee's investigation into former Governor Cuomo's pandemic-era failures. Nice video right there. The World Health Organization. What could they have possibly done wrong? The WHO's response to the COVID-19 pandemic was an abject failure because it caved to pressure from the Chinese Communist Party and placed China's political interests ahead of its international duties. Further, the WHO's newest effort to solve the problems exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic via a pandemic treaty may harm the United States. Social distancing. The 6 feet apart social distancing recommendation, which shut down schools and small businesses across the country, was arbitrary and not based on science. During closed-door testimony, Dr. Fauci testified that the guidance, quote, sort of just appeared. The guidance just appeared. The mask mandates. There was no conclusive evidence that masks effectively protected Americans from COVID-19. Public health officials flip-flopped on the efficiency of masks without providing Americans scientific data, causing a massive uptick in public distrust. The lockdowns. Prolonged lockdowns caused immeasurable harms to not only the American economy, but also to the mental and physical health of Americans, with a particularly negative effect on younger citizens. Rather than prioritizing the protection of the most vulnerable populations, federal and state government policies forced millions of Americans to forego crucial elements of a healthy and financially sound life. Now we get to the New York pandemic failures, a guy who wants to come back and be governor. Former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's March 25 order, which forced nursing homes to accept COVID-19 positive patients, was medical malpractice. Evidence shows that Mr. Cuomo and his administration worked to cover up the tragic aftermath of their policy decisions in an apparent effort to shield themselves from accountability. Evidence suggests Mr. Cuomo knowingly and willfully made false statements to the Select Subcommittee on numerous occasions about material aspects of New York's COVID-19 nursing home disaster and the ensuing cover-up. The Select Subcommittee referred Mr. Cuomo to the DOJ for criminal prosecution. Criminal prosecution. Well, a lot of people are being referred for criminal prosecution. We'll see how long it takes to get to that criminal prosecution. COVID-19 misinformation. Public health officials often misled the American people through conflicting messaging, knee-jerk reactions, and a lack of transparency. Most egregiously, the federal government demonized alternative treatments and disfavored narratives such as the lab leak theory in a shameful effort to coerce and control the American people's health decisions. When those efforts failed, the Biden administration resorted to outright censorship, coercing and colluding with the world's largest social media companies to censor all COVID-19 related dissent. I know that firsthand. I'm sure many of you do. It happened to me. It happened to a lot of people. And let's see how YouTube responds to this story being out there and everybody covering it. How is YouTube going to react to that? It will be fascinating to see if they start censoring this based on their community standards. It's come directly from the whitehouse.gov website. Doesn't get any more clearer than that. For a lot of people, it's nothing that they didn't already know, didn't already suspect, but it's really nice to see this coming directly from the White House and pretty much calling out their own organizations, the NIH, the HHS. Of course, it's under different leadership now, which is good. That's exactly what we need to do to make America great again and to make America healthy again. Trumpomania is definitely running wild. There's absolutely no doubt about that. This is WrestleMania weekend, so it's awesome that Trump released this here. If it's new, I haven't heard about this, but since a lot of it's being covered only within the last day or so, I'm assuming this lab leak article, whatever you want to call it, press release just came out yesterday. That's my guess. So I could be wrong on that. But it's great to see that happening. I finally have found the end, hopefully, to the COVID-19 book that I've been working on. And that's another great thing that is happening right now, too. So that is just everything I was able to find on the lab leak directly from the source. Gain of function research is something that Senator Rand Paul has been talking about for a long time. And every time he mentioned it, I was like, what is he talking? What is this gain of function research? I had no idea what that was. And then you look at his congressional hearings, and then you can read his book too that Rand Paul wrote, which is a lot of it is about Fauci, going after Fauci. It's a really good book. And he goes through this gain of function, how the gain of function research is tied directly to Anthony Fauci, to our government, paying them to do this stuff, and to this lab leak, which seems like the most likely thing that happened, the most likely reason for COVID. So to people who just want COVID to go away and let's not talk about it anymore, they got everything that they needed out of it. That's not going to happen. It's not going anywhere. In fact, the awareness is going to be a lot better. It's going to get a lot deeper. People who already had it all figured out are not going to be too concerned with all of this stuff, except to say, hey, I told you so. That's what we're going to hear a lot, I'm sure. But to me, the evidence matters, the facts matters, and it's really good to see the White House doing this and putting this out there. I am extremely excited and happy about that. So I believe that is all I have for this one here. And yeah, that is it. God bless you all. God bless America. Remember, it's a very important weekend for us. A Good Friday was yesterday. And then tomorrow, we get to say the 3 most important words of our lifetime. He is risen. God bless you all. May Jesus Christ be with you. Remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I.